Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Lori from Craggy Brook Witchery, and as you can see today I've put out the little kit that I purchased a few years ago called the Lover's Path Tarot Set. Now the box indicates on the front that it is by Kris Waldherr. She's the creator also of the Goddess Tarot, so I brought that down as well. This is a US Games deck, and this was put out, I believe, in 2004. It talks about all love relationships mirror our relationship with ourselves. And that's the card 17. And you'll notice in this deck, the colors are very vibrant, but it does relate to stories that are love stories and myths. So on the side of the box, you can see it says, if it gets into focus ever, come on, baby. It includes a full color deck book and custom scroll spreadsheet. Now, if you've watched a few of my videos, you know that I am not too keen on these sheets that they put in the box. I've had this under a book, my 5,000 spells, and you know how big that book is. For 2 days, it's still not flat. I hate this thing, but it does give you an idea of the layout. She's got the burning question. Listen to this thing. It even sounds bad. The Lover's Path, which is humongous. Past, present, and future. Past, present, future for 2. And on the back, you get more. So there's a dueling path, the Celtic cross, relationship cross. This thing is long, and some of the spreads are long too. So I don't like this thing. I hate this thing. And it all fit inside here. So I'm casting that thing on the floor where it belongs. This goes together with a little Velcro. And your box sat in here, and that's where the scroll sat, right there. So, I mean, it's pretty with its ornate border, which is what was on the cards until I cut it off. And then there's a little heart thing there, and your ribbon for getting the deck in and out. So I'm going to continue on because everything I picked up was relating it and her work back to the Goddess Tarot. So I thought I'd bring that out. Now I have a couple editions of that Goddess Tarot, and you'll see similar borders on it. Now these decks are both 1998 that I have. There's 2 editions here. The books are identical, but the faded one here goes in this box, which is one of those boxes. And this one came on its own. I don't know whether it had an original box the same or not, but you can see that there's a little bit of color variation between these 2 decks. And they both say, as rich in symbolism as it is in beauty. And they are very pretty. So you get all the goddesses in these decks, but I'm going to show you the difference of the cards between these 2. And these are just the simple tuck boxes, and you do get a little white booklet with it. So if I pull the 2 cards out here, you'll see one is much more saturated in color than the other one. Even the lettering is the same, but it's just not standing out as well as the one on the left. And you do get the little copyright on the side. And the backs, you can really see quite a difference. Now I have not, admittedly, played very much with these. There is the big borders, but I understand that they're trying to get the goddess name down below as well. So I'm going to slip that back in each box, and we'll continue with the Lover's Tarot, which I thought was quite delightful when I received it, but the cards were pretty darn big because I have long fingers, and that's quite substantial and quite wide. It was kind of awkward to hold onto, and I keep running into the similar problem with some decks that the borders just take away so much. So this is what they looked like before I trimmed them, and that is the trim size. So you can see I trimmed it down a lot, and I took off all the little gold as well. I think I went to that first, and I didn't like it the way it was appearing on the back. It was tricky. You had to go down quite a bit to get rid of all of the ornate. And I felt bad doing it because if you look in the booklet that comes with it, this sat in that great big box, published, as I say, by US Games. Now, she is the creator of the book as well as the art. And it is nice color images throughout. And it takes you on a story of myth and lovers. I mean, for instance, there you've got Dante and Beatrice and the whole story about that. And it really is quite neat also when you get into, for instance, the cups here. You get a good amount of information about the little story, and then each the cups, the staves, the swords, they all follow a little story, and this one is about Tristan and Isolde. And it's nice that it gives you the affiliation card for the major arcana. So it's going to teach you how to look at the minors in combination with the majors. And it does give you some keywords there as well. So the whole book is full color. And at the back are more of the spreads that we put in that lovely little handout. And here you can see that they're giving you a little color image, the title of the card, keywords, and the lovers it's referring to. So that was quite neat because they do the whole thing really quite nicely and with the border of the cards illustrated. So if you like myth and if you like love stories, this is quite a pretty deck. And the other information I can say is it was inspired apparently by a visit to Italy, and she particularly enjoyed the paintings of the Renaissance. Now these borders that you see here, she indicates in the handouts that it was done in gouache, which is like watercolor, and the maps and the paintings were done with layering of oil paint, and it was all layered over an underpainting of watercolor that had been sealed with like a gel medium first. So you get a little information about her. I do like the backs very much. I almost think that I should not have cut them down because they don't appear as bright without the white border, but I was finding it too difficult to shuffle and to fit. You know, if you're doing a spread, these cards take up a lot of room. So in with the cards as well that was in this box, sitting in that box, you do get a little pamphlet. And I did like some of the things here. For instance here, the Lover's Path Tarot is a tool to examine and improve relationships, whether they be with yourself, with your beloved, or with the world. And examining our preconceptions about love, the ways we yearn to connect with another, what we desire in a partner, is an act of self-illumination, More importantly, it's one way to take personal responsibility for our lives. And then here, you can see that you're getting some more information besides what's in the big book. It's probably quite similar. Now she talks here a little bit about the structure. The Lover's Path Tarot contains 78 cards. The 78 cards are divided into 22 major and 56 minors, right? Each minor arcana card is affiliated with a story of a famous couple from history. Accordingly, each card is named after archetypal emotional states represented by the stories. These in turn are related to traditional tarot symbolism. Archetypal. That is a difficult word, isn't it? In the minor arcana, the great themes explored in the major arcana are brought to earth, made relevant to our individual experiences. The minor arcana is divided into 4 suits. Now they're using cups, staves, arrows, and coins. And it goes on, and it does have meanings for reversed or upside down cards. And they can be used, as it says, as you wish. And she prefers to think of cards as being strong or weak if they're upright or reversed. So we'll set that aside. And I just thought because we had the pretty cloth out for the teacup cards, we'd go with that again today. And if I move this out of the way, it will be less intrusive in our image. There we go. And I did find this, an illustrated novel by the same artist author. And she really does go into some beautiful stories in it. Like, look at the inside. Is that not gorgeous? So this is, to truly love another, you must follow the lover's path wherever it may take you. Now, Filomena Ziani is the much younger sister of the most famous courtesan in 16th century Venice. Tulia Ziani, orphaned as an infant, Filomena has come of age, bent like a branch to her sister's will, sheltered and lonely in the sumptuous but stifling confines of their palazzo by the sea. Now, in here, I did mark one page. I thought that was kind of neat. So this is a little section here, and there's an envelope that I've pulled the cards up a little bit here, and that sits in the book. And this is a conversation between the two sisters, and she's thinking, she says, I was just thinking, I answered slowly after a moment's silence, that my life should be mine to choose. And the sister, Katrina, offered up her own worn deck. No woman can choose her life, but you can choose some cards, she suggests. And these are the cards that through the story here, she has pulled. And with curiosity, she says here, Katrina, she took the cards from my hands and she nimbly chose 4 from the top. As God wills, she breathed. Her hands, smooth and white, even in middle age, flashed against the deep flat colors of the cards as she turned them over. And it describes the anticipation of seeing the cards. And she said she could see the whole situation of her and her lover in the cards. And there they are at the end. So this is kind of a neat little book, and it's going to be fun read, I think, especially since they have all these little pockets and things in here that you can pull out little letters and read about a beautiful path of love, the trials and tribulations. So that's the Lover's Path, and it has gold edging. It's a not too heavy a book, but it's beautiful. So let's get to the heart of the matter. I can hear people saying, yeah, but show me the cards. Okay, so this is the cut down version. We'll bring this a little bit closer. And we're lowering this a bit for my comfort. There we go. So here's the backs. And you know, it is good cardstock. 2 hearts. How pretty. And there is the start, the Fool. So I'm not going to go into all the little titles. Let's just enjoy the cards. I do like this one. This is about Vivian and Merlin. Merlin the magician, and how many of his skills he shared with Vivian, and it didn't go so well. So there is our high priestess. The Empress. And I did write some words along the bottom. I tried to pick just one simple small word, and I put the numbers of sequence on because I had cut everything off. Guinevere. Romeo and Juliet. Might be clearer if I just leave them there. There's our lovers. There is our strength card. And this one shows a lot of strength, so I put that same word down there. The Hermit for retreat. So it really does take you back into a different time, the time of Renaissance, when there was so much beauty and art. And the stories really are fascinating. So if you don't see enough in the card and don't understand it, taking time to read the stories certainly brings it all together. Some of the facial expressions are not wonderful, but there's a lot of movement in some of these cards, and you can feel the angst in some of the other ones, especially her. There's that beautiful card of hope. That one was a nice story. And there's the World. So you can see the difference if I pull this one photocopy forward, that some of the brightness was taken away by taking the borders off. But I was really trying to zero in on the image. So that completes our majors. So there's a beautiful cup. I like the sort of dreamy background on that one. There's our lovers. It's a good 4 of Cups. Trapped with her emotions. That one I really, really liked. I wonder how many of us take these little lover strolls these days. We're all so busy. Just to get away on a vacation helps reconnect. That's our 8 of Cups. Our 9. Now this one reminds me so much of the 10 of Cups because of the same rainbow effect. So I went through it again this morning and wrote the numbers on because I'd only had the numbers previously on the majors, and it was just getting a little confusing counting cups and things. So there is our page, and in this deck they refer to her, the women that are pages, as princesses. So they do have names along the bottom. There's our prince, Tristan. So cups are about the 2. Our queen and our king. All right, now we're into the staves. I believe that's what they call them in this one. That ball he's holding is a little bit, I don't know. It's hard to figure out. It doesn't look like the typical world that we see in the 2 of Wands. I like that there's 2 people in this 3 of Wands. Usually there's only the 1. The 5. There's our hero, our 6 of Wands. This is fantastic with the dragon. The colors are a little bit muted, but there's our 8 for messages, love notes. Our 9. Now this is interesting with the lovers. They're in here surrounded by these wands. And you can see a little bird coming through there. The 10 of Wands. So that would be our princess. The prince. The queen. I thought she looked a little bit young for a queen, but I'll go with it. And the king. And I always like to see how the king and queen look together. All right. Now she calls these arrows. Great 3 of Swords. I don't think you can be confused about her feelings there. Things aren't going too well there. The 6. The 7. The 8, another wonderful card. Lots of emotion. The 9. And that's a pretty nice 10 of arrows. Our princess of arrows. The prince. Venus for the queen. And Adonis for the king. And then we get into the coins. A little confusing with the heart there. I wondered at first if that was the Ace of Hearts, but no, we have the coin, and this is the image they placed on it. So our 2. Liked that 3. Beautiful 4. You really get the feeling of desperation and out in the cold with that 5. There's our 7. The 8. The joyous 9 of coins. The 10 with the castle in the background. That's quite an estate. Our princess. Our prince. Oopsies. And our queen and our king. That's a nice looking couple. So I'm hoping to do a little reading with that today and see how they speak. I need to know a little bit more about the stories again in order to get the most out of it. This is not normally how I would jump in after they've been in their suits. I tend to want to put them out in various piles and get them all assorted. So I end up with sometimes 8 or 10 piles around after it's been ordered just to get it back again. Now, it won't bend for doing a rifle shuffle. That is not going to happen. They're too stiff. These would look pretty edged in a gold. But let's just pick a couple cards for today. Let's see, what can we ask about? The best way that we could be working with our relationships maybe at this time. Any hints, any tips? There's one that wants to speak. And we'll pick 3, I think. There's another one. So tips on working with relationships at this time. And I missed a few over here, but there we go. Let's just see what the heart of the matter is. Ooh, being creative, being passionate. That's an ace. Being able to be adventurous with our relationships. Fire them up and get them growing. Okay. Ooh, the 9 of Cups. Really feeling the joy and emotion with a relationship. Feeling uplifted, generous, passionate. And you can see the little V here for the female femininity coming in with that little wrap around her waist, that little chain. Okay. And this one, oh, really nice cards. But you see, when they're not shuffled out too much, you do get cards coming together. But so a lot of joy, a lot of passion. And at the heart of it all, be creative, be adventurous, and maybe try something new, because the ace is always the beginning of something. So even though we're in the 9s and 10s, which are the higher numbers, it's never good to be stale. Be a little creative, a little passionate, and grow that relationship deeper. Lovely. So I will leave that there with everyone. And I hope you've enjoyed that. It is a pretty deck. And again, if you like myth and old romance and the paintings from years ago, that Renaissance feeling, you might even enjoy this book. And it should give you, by the time you finish each of them, the one that came with the deck and this one, you should be all set to be able to do beautiful love readings. Thanks so much. Have a bright day.